good evening, good morning, good day, good night, whatever time is a social construct. My name is Possum Morpheus, and I am here with the first time commentary extraordinaire, E Ninja 81, coming to us hot. Ninja, I am super excited to be part of this free enterprise community race broadcast with you. How are you feeling? How are you doing this evening, my friend?
Feeling pretty good.
Excellent, excellent. I'm glad to be here with you. Very excited to do this. I see we have some fantastic objectives here. We have defeat Baigen, defeat Kainatsu, defeat Odin, and liberate Baron Castle. Seems to be a very Baron-centric flag set. How are we feeling about that? Are you hoping for any bosses in particular spots, Ninja?
There's a few that could be a little challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. I know personally, I'm hoping for Kainatsu at the Elements spot on the giant, 65,000 health of big old waves. That would be fun for us up here in the booth. Probably not for the runners, but we want to be entertained, right?
That's true. I mean, I could see a Kainazo at even, say, Hook 2. That would be
Oh,
kind of interesting.
yeah, the Ruby spot would also be quite an interesting one. Meanwhile, let's look at some of the other things going on here. We have four very distinguished, very good runners on screen. Flurry 14, a man who needs no introduction. Harumph, if you haven't been able to figure it out by the the words on his screen, not the biggest fan of the Twin Harp, so we all know it's going to be hard required tonight. Tall Grant, one of the founders of a club this off season, and a fairly newer runner, but a very, very good runner. And Beauty in Discovery has been around for, I think, about a year now, maybe a year and a half, but has been making waves on the ladder and in the pink puff scene as well. So four excellent runners. I know you're familiar with a couple of them from ladder and pink puff. So who are you looking for tonight to do great things, and where do you think they're going to go with this T Wildish treasure setting on?
Well, I'm kind of more of a favorite towards Tall Grant, but that's also because I race him a lot in the ladder.
Ah, gotcha, gotcha. Good little rapport built between the two of y'all then. So as far as that treasure is concerned, like with T Wildish on, we know that a lot of the heavier weighted loot locations are going to really pay out here. Is there any particular place you like to go? When you're looting for T Wildish?
Um, I prefer Watery Pass. Yeah, pretty much Watery Pass. I have done Mist Cave, stuff like that.
See, and I am a big fan of the Eblin Castle check. So I think that both, those are good options. Miss Cave also a surprisingly good option. But it looks like we are underway. We have a Palom and a Cane. Honestly, a pretty strong start. A Valvalis and a Ninja Hat. Um, and we also have a bunch of random items. I think I saw a Blizzard Spear in there, which is actually quite good, and a bandana. So that makes this cane really strong right out of the bat.
I agree with that.
So with this party, would you start looking to clear objective or not objective, but clear progression spots right away, like Antlion? Would you look to go to Hobbs for characters, or would you go to loot right away? What would kind of be your approach to this, Ninja?
Mm, I'd probably start doing boss checks, but that's just me.
Absolutely. So would you be looking at like Waterfall, Mist Cave,
Waterfall,
that
Mist
sort of
Cave,
thing?
yeah, early checks.
Makes sense because you actually have the power to beat them. Definitely
Mhm.
makes a lot of sense. But we see Tall Grant doing some looting here. That is a Moonveil coming out of Watery Pass. That's fantastic. And folks, we will get the timer taken care of shortly. Do not worry, do not fret. That'll be adjusted and on the way shortly. Another Blizzard Spear, Damsian Basement for Flurry. And we see Beauty and Discovery picking up a Silent Staff out of Eblin. And was that a Crystal Ring and Antlion? It's so hard to keep track of everything.
Um, well, I saw Tall Grant pick up a heroin robe and a power shirt out of the Watery Pass.
Yeah, so Watery Pass, a Heroine Robe, a Power Shirt, and a Moonveil. That is incredible. Like that Power Shirt, the bandana, and the Blizzard Spear for Kane, like honestly, you don't need a ton more than that to get going. That's fantastic. And we have Harumph kind of doing what you were alluding to, Ninja, which was just start doing your boss checks right away.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting Harumph just to reset out of this, though, means it's not what he's looking for.
That's interesting because we do still need key items, and there is a pretty decent chance that we could get a key item here from Antlion. So,
Oh, yeah, that's right. He is
uh,
definitely.
yeah, we do still need those key items, but it looks like Harumph, and I love how the naming scheme worked out here. The Harp Office. That's an office I don't want to be a part of either. So I'm with Harumph on that. But let's see what we get from this Antlion check. Meanwhile, Tall Grant dabbling around and has found some Magus Sisters and a Tella up on Hobbs, and that is a Baron key from Antlion. Bad Karma might have places to be if these bosses show up, because this could be an early one. So Ninja, where would you go with that Baron key? How early would you consider doing Baron?
Ooh, that's a tough call, really. I mean, we know who's at Baron 1. Val there? To me, I'd like to have a little bit more power.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense to have more power to take on that Val. I also want to point something out that this is an interaction you probably haven't seen and likely won't see again for some time. Tall Grant recalled with Tella.
Mm-hmm.
Recalled Stone. Stone cannot hit the Magus Sisters. However, there was a wall of Magus Sisters. The wall reflected this stone back, and it so effectively Tella used recall to stone himself.
Yes, I noticed that. That's kind of
Ever seen that before?
I don't think I've ever seen that happen before.
All right, looks like we have Tall Grant through the Magus. Flurry is through the Dark Imps. Beauty and Discovery taking on the Dark Imps. Taking on the Magus Sisters. And Tall Grant going to give us our first peek at the defense. And not to be outdone, Harumph has decided to reflect the virus. All of the memes coming out today from Tella, we're getting a lot of high-quality spells that are being reflected back and killing members of the party. I find this very funny.
It is something.
And on Tall Grant's side, we have a King and Queen Eblin. Not too much to write home about. Not going to be a very difficult fight. Tall Grant's Kane already able to jump for over 1,000 damage and one-shot the King.
Yeah, that power shirt and bandana really does help.
Yeah, absolutely does. And we got an HP ran out on Harum's side as well for that virus that was cast. We also have Tella continuing to betray the party. Has now stopped Palom mid-cast, maybe trying to do some garbage can trash from Vanilla or something. But a whole lot going on here, and a lot of it is pretty comical. But a Magma Key shows up for Tall Grant as well. So we now know that the likely logical underground access is through Fabul, and that's probably a good thing for the runners, wouldn't you say?
I'd prefer Magma Key over a hook any day.
How early do you think you would dive that hook, Ninja? Would you go there right away?
You mean the Earth Crystal?
Sorry, the Magma Key. How quick would you dive that?
See, I'm always one to do. I always do my above ground objectives before I hit underground. So, and he's still got Baron which actually Tallground even hasn't done Antline yet. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
that's true.
and someone also mentioned that the pass was in the football shop.
Yeah, our tracker this evening, Engie Dave, pointing out that the pass was in fact in the Fabul shop as well as long swords. So pretty good shop there, all things considered. That pass, not an objective, but with the P shop flag on, means you don't have to hunt for it as a key item. So that's pretty nice for our runners. The Baron shop not being too kind to Harumph, not really anything in that gated shop, but it does look like Tallgrant going to be our first runner to give us a peek underground.
Yes, he is.
And if you were in Tallgrant's shoes, where would you go underground? Would you shop? Would you do Dwarf? Would you do Fey March? What would kind of be your routing underground?
First Fey March to check the freebie. Then probably go around shopping.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Got to get those free key items. Also, check for a couple bosses since we know where the Baron key is already. We just need Baigen, Kainatsu, and Odin. And looks like Tallgrant deciding that that Dwarf Castle is going to be the play, and going to likely shop here rather than actually attempt the bosses. And that looks like what's happening. Going to give us a peek at the weapon shop. A Gungnir Spear is really nice, but 66,000 stuff to come by. Strength Ring and Sork Robe. So a pretty nice equipment shop there, all things considered for Tallgrant, but not really able to afford any of it.
Yeah, those are some pretty pricey items.
Well, we have Bacchus wine in Dwarf Castle, which is really nice, and we have everybody's favorite comedian on Harumph's side, the first runner to show us, the lovable Golbez, who I believe is hanging out in Baron Inn, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
So are you a fan of seeing Golbez pop out early, or are you more a fan of seeing Golbez pop out late?
The earlier, I actually prefer him earlier than later.
Gotcha. It looks like Kane is able to just one-shot Golbez there, making good use of the powerful equipment. And we have, was that a computer engineer analyst?
Computer system engineer.
Computer system engineer. Gotcha. Thank you, Ninja. And a vanilla karate on Harumph's side. See if he's able to get through this without the Cecil Ouch script. And looks like Harumph is victorious and that karate has gone down. Picks up a Rosa for his troubles and is rewarded with a darkness crystal as well. That opened up a lot of boss checks. Would you ever go through and just kind of scout the entire moon, like dive to the bottom of it and look for all the bosses?
If I was going to do that, I would make a save before going down, and then maybe on the way down save at one of the save points, and maybe I would just to scout them out.
Yeah, definitely makes sense to leave that save scum set up, be able to, go through and reset back. That would be a fantastic way to go about that, where you get that information but not lose too much time. It would be kind of similar to diving a hook route to peek who the King Queen Eblin boss was, or maybe even who the Sparkle was if it was a hook route Sparkle. Definitely can see the logic there.
Or
Me,
I was gonna say it'd also be sort of like doing Luca Cave for an item.
yeah, very similar to that as well. And we do see on Tallgrand's side has picked up additionally now another heroine robe, a samurai bow, karate gi, just picking up all sorts, a third heroine robe, just picking up all sorts of wonderful stuff here. And hey, we have found a jerkbird up on Mount Ordeals, Beauty and Discovery, showing us, but it is just casting Psych. So those star veils not actually needed. I wonder if that will prompt a reset on Beauty and Discovery's side, or if he will just continue on going after this jerkbird.
I don't know.
And then looks like Harumph also finding that jerkbird and is also able to get a veil up, but is going pew pew with Rosa, casting some spells with Palom, whereas Beauty and Discovery is through the bird by just jumping. So very well done there, and just a hat in the Fey March, nothing really to write home about.
I see on Tall Grant's side he found sirens in the Feymarch shop.
Yeah, both Tallgrant and Flurry simultaneously finding sirens and tents. So
Yep.
that's a pretty good pickup for both runners. And there is an Odin. That is an objective number 4. So if you want to complete the siege, you're going to have to do ordeals today. This is actually kind of a scary spot, but with a lit 2 cast from Palom, that Odin is no more for Beauty and Discovery already. And objective number 4 already up on the board for Beauty and Discovery, not even 13 minutes into the seed.
Yep, and it should be pretty soon for Harumph as well.
Yeah, Harumph leveraging the power of Rosa there, as well as Palom, and Odin down for both Beauty and Discovery and Harumph. Very quickly done. Good job to both. But we see Tallgrant and Flurry making their way around underground, doing some shopping, picking up their Bacchus, their Sirens, and also going to do the Sheila 1 turn in. Just going to take care of their freebies. But there is objective 4 officially on the board for Harumph. And coming out of Ordeals, looks like we're just going to get a Dr. Luge fight with an Aegis shield. So the Odin is the real reward here, and the telespells.
Pretty much. That's all.
Looks like on Flurry's side, we are cracking an egg, going to be at least attempting to wipe this out. Not sure exactly what his plan is. He has stop
Oh.
already on Palom. Okay, he's got this. Well, if Palom doesn't whiff the stop. And also our tracker, Dave, noting that we saw Evil Wall at Leviathan as well as some form of Mylon at Asura. So lots of non-value, if you will. But we do pick up a pan for Tallgrant. So Sheila 1 doing a bit of trolling here by having the vanilla pan. So anyone trying to fade Sheila 1 is going to have their work cut out for them if this pan has potential value.
That's true. I mean, could be oh, and looks like Tall Grant's going to Ordeals first before going to do the pan.
Yeah, it makes sense because proximity-wise, he's already here, so he can just head on up the mountain, take care of getting Tella those spells, head underground, maybe cast Weak or Stone to take out an egg or two, So I definitely understand the routing here.
Oh, completely.
Looks like Harumph is going to be our first runner to actually head into Baron proper here. He is going to take on whatever bosses are on uh, the the Baron throne proper, and probably give us a peek at the boss in the basement. Likely not be able to beat it because it's quite a difficult spot. But who are you hoping for if we get a peek at the basement?
Um, I, see, I'm not so more knowledgeable about that spot, really.
I personally would like to see Ruby there because Ruby is really rude in that spot. Hits very hard. Cast Fire 2s as Berserk counters. I think that'd be a very fun one for us, not necessarily for the runners. So, Ninja, whereabouts would you start heading after the Baron liberation is completed, Baron Inn is completed, all of these normal overworld checks? Would you be prioritizing something like Dwarf Castle, um, or would you look at like a Keyless Tower? Would you try your hand at a Feymarch? What would kind of your thoughts be after the initial rush here of overworld checks?
I think for me, I would probably. I think I try to do as many checks as I can that have multiple bosses. So, dwarf for both checks if I'm looking for multiple bosses.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. I think Dwarf is a very high value check. If an Earth Crystal shows up, Zop becomes a high value check. I am curious to see if anyone decides to make that moon dive at some point and get really spicy. I know that we have a lot of folks who are capable of that, and I would definitely like to see one of these fine runners go ahead and do that this evening.
Oh, there's a good chance that one of these bosses could be on the moon.
Yeah, so let me ask you this: which boss in which location, knowing that we have Baigen and Kainaso unaccounted for, if one of those is on the moon, which boss would you want to see on the moon, and in what spot would you want to see it?
Um, like Kainatsu, I wouldn't mind seeing him at say Ogo spot.
I like it. It's rude.
Just a little bit.
Speaking of things that aren't rude, though, we get a discount double check on Harum's side. There is no free key item on this flag set, which means the Liberation of Baron going to provide a free key. Excuse me, going to provide a key item check, and this Demus will also provide a key item check. So, going to get two for the price of one here on Harum's side, and that aggressive play to Baron may pay off for him if this has some early value.
Well, we'll just have to see.
Yep, and meanwhile, in lockstep, we have Flurry and Beauty and Discovery heading into Baron, just a couple of frames apart. So, going to be interested in seeing who is able to make quicker work of Baron here. Meanwhile, also, we have an Edward showing up, which would probably be good if we hadn't already seen Odin. I can't think of too many uses for this Edward at this point.
Mm, not really.
What would your game plan be for this Edward? Would you keep him alive? Would you off him? What would be your play here with that Edward?
Uh, I'm not really sure, honestly, because you have two potential uh, anchors. I mean, you have Tella, and you could have Edward as an anchor.
Yeah, makes sense. And speaking of potential anchors, we now have access to two character checks and two more boss checks because the Earth Crystal showed up from Baron. So I know we had talked a little about that being a high value item earlier, not only for the treasury, because this is T Wildish max tier 7. So that treasury is going to have some really good stuff in it, most likely. But also two potential character checks. And on this flag set, Fusoya is restricted, so can only show up in restricted locations. But we also have a game we love to play here around Free Enterprise, and that is called Rate That Treasury. So chat, get your ratings ready. All right, Ninja. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw 3 Bahamut's in a treasury?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
That makes 2 of us. Yes, indeed, that was 3 Bahamut's. That treasury was Bahamut out of 10. And I don't believe we've seen Iridia, but maybe there'll be Iridia up here on Zot.
It looks like Rumpf is trying to see if he can get the Flamo Dog.
Yeah, and I believe with that Blizzard Spear, he will make quick work of it. It will do a little bit of ruining. Oh, doesn't have a Blizzard Spear on, just an Ogre Axe. But the Virus now should take care, or the Ice too. So he'll still be through this. Did Harumph check the D-Mist, or did Harumph head straight to this Tower of Zot? I do have to ask, because I don't remember.
I think he went straight here.
Okay. So that's interesting. I do hope that he remembers that D-Mist when he lands from the Tower of Zot. Because if that D-Mist has value that leads to a boss, that could be a bit troublesome. Speaking of troublesome, this Flame Doggo is just tenderizing people on Harumph's side, but is able to get through. And gets a Blizzard Spear from the Flame Dog.
Nice.
And the Pan provides both halves of Forge for Tallgrant. So, wow. Oddly enough, the Pan not at all required. However, that's a heck of a shop that just opened up.
And means Alt Smith is on. It will give you it don't give you Excal sometime.
It could.
But it could also give you something else.
Yeah, it'll be any tier 7 or tier 8 item that can come from Alt Smith. So it could be a white shirt, it could be a moon veil, it could be a crystal sword, it could be a dragoon spear, Masamune, lots of different stuff. But we are going to get a D-Mist check here from Flurry. Meanwhile, Beauty and Discovery picks up his Edward. But let's see, did Harumph miss out on anything, or does he dodge a bullet here? Well, it's a package. I don't know if Flurry is going to sit through that for anything, except a Fusoya.
I figure him to go out, save, and... No, he's not. Oh, yeah, he is.
Flurry just playing with us. He's probably, so he's going to check Miss Cave to see if Baigen or Kanatsu are there, and then go check the package, which makes sense. Just a water hag, so yeah, not exactly what we need. And there's a officer soldier on Harumph's side as well. That is a Cecil for Flurry, who has not done ordeals yet of note because that paladin is still in DKC form. Now, Beauty and Discovery also flew in here from the left-hand side. So if he wants to check this package, he's going to need to exit out instead of walk out. So we'll see if
Mhm.
Beauty and Discovery does that. But he walks out, sees the Cecil, and we'll see if he sits through it or not.
I'm thinking he is because he hasn't reset yet.
Yeah,
I
looks
mean,
like Beauty and Discovery is interested in that Cecil.
I mean, there is a boss check when you go to Kaipo.
That's true. Wouldn't that be something? A boss check that yields a very hidden, very buried boss behind a package demist could be the only Cecil in the seed, as Chad is pointing out as well. Flurry opted to not bother with this. Might come back for it if a Holy Sword comes up. Uh, but Beauty and Discovery, sitting through this could get paid off here. We do see a Rydia up on the Tower of Zot. Harumph says no to the Rydia with 3 Bahamut's in his inventory. I'm a little surprised by that.
I am too, really.
That is definitely something that I'm going to want to ask Harumph about later on to see, if he was maybe holding her for a slingshot, which is a possibility. Having the darkness crystal available, he could be looking to do a Rydia slingshot uh,
Mhm.
and do a D machine grind. Too tough to say yet. And meanwhile, we have an Asura here on Harumph's side. That is a boss that exists, and it's often unpleasant, but we do have a wall up on it now, so Quake will be able to penetrate that wall and take it out. And we just have a gigantic group of tentacles hanging out in the Kaipo Inn today.
Yeah, pretty simple fight.
Yeah, no more tentacles hanging out in the inn, but Beauty and Discovery is our only runner right now who has access to this Cecil. So that is going to be a potential boon for him. And meanwhile, we see Flurry heading up ordeals, maybe thinking between that Tella he has in his party and also the Cecil that is available that ordeals could be of value. Little does he know at this point that we know ordeals at least the first 2 spots are required because you got to get to that back attack Odin.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And I see on Beauty's side that she dropped the Tella for Cecil. So is he looking to maybe keep Edward around as an anchor?
Maybe keep Edward as an anchor, but also could just be, not wanting to deal with having Tella gain agility in the long run and just leave him kind of hanging out uh, and pick him up later. So tough to say, but that is definitely an option that Beauty and Discovery has by virtue of picking up that Cecil that no one else has at this point. Flurry, meanwhile, through Wyvern, and Tallgrant going to likely give us our first peek at the Moon character in the Moon shop. Of note, though, with Tallgrant, has faded Antlion and does not have that Baron key. So while memes can be dreams, they can also be dangerous. And this could potentially be very dangerous for Tallgrant.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I've had my share of fading Antlion.
Oh yeah, I think we all have tried to dabble in the ways of the couches and the PKs of the world. Uh, you know, fading antlion and hoping not to get burned by it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But that's neither here nor there. We'll see if Tall Grant makes it back there, and we hope he does. But meanwhile, we see Harumph picking up that Demist item and heading to Kaipo. Did not burn the village, so not going to have that Cecil, but is doing some shopping here. Maybe shopping and then peeking the character so he doesn't lock himself out. Not exactly 100% sure, but certainly don't have to go and pick up that Cecil, not without a holy sword. And who needs holy swords when there's an edge on the moon? That's a big find for our runners.
I mean, earlier we did to find a shop that had, what was it, long swords, I think it was, for sale?
Yep, long swords were with the pass, I believe, in Fabul. So at a minimum, there'll be a couple long swords. I know we've seen a full moon somewhere. We've seen a Murasame somewhere. And we might be getting a hairdryer check for some XP for Tall Grant. This is pretty heads up because having Quake, he'll be able to sweep these. And he'll also be able to get 30,000 XP slingshot on Cecil. That'll give him roughly 60,000 XP. And he does have both that full moon and Murasame. So this is a pretty well loaded out edge here. That's a lot of good gear.
I didn't even see where he picked up the Murasame at.
Yeah, I'm not sure as well. It maybe have been Watery Pass, I'm not certain. Or it could have been some of the extra looting he did underground. Really coming to fruition here. Finds an apple for his troubles as well, which could be nice for a Palom later on. But we now know that this is going to be the hairdryer's chest. And for those in chat who may not be familiar with why it's called the hairdryer chest, well, just look at them. They look like hairdryers.
Oh, I see. He was trying to get the Rosa back up before this. Oh, and the Quake didn't kill the back ones.
Yeah, and this is a little dangerous now. I think this is going to be a reset on Tall Grant's side. And I apologize. It wasn't a slingshot on Cecil he was going for. It's a slingshot on Rosa. As our only runner with the Cecil so far is Beauty and Discovery. Oh, 875 on Edge. Lethal damage on Rosa. This is a rough fight, and Tella decided to tell a life a blink there as well. I believe, or unless it's one of those situations where the frames are not matching up. Gets through this fight, but does not get the XP on that Rosa, which kind of hurts. He tried to blink Rosa, who was already dead. That would do it. But meanwhile, Harumph is through the Fabul defense. Flurry, I believe, is climbing the Tower of Zot, has just taken out the Flame Dog. Beauty and Discovery making his way to the top of the tower, where he will almost certainly say no to Porum, but may take this Rydia. I'm very curious to see on Flurry's side and Beauty and Discovery's side if they are going to be on board with the Blarg train, or if they are going to pass. I know personally I would have picked up Rydia in a heartbeat to go with that Bahamut. What would you have done there, Ninja? All right, looks like Beauty and Discovery decided that Rydia is not going to be able to Blarg things tonight. Flurry is going to get through that officer soldier fight rather easily. No big issues there. And Harumph is making a character swap here. Looks like Eddie is out, and Rydia is in, and Porum is in. So I think we're getting double slingshots on Harumph's side, and I think we are about to get some D machines in our lives. I know I, for one, am here for it, but a lot of people are not.
That is one thing I have yet to learn to do.
D machine, it's a fun grind. It can take you from power underwhelming to power overwhelming very quickly. Definitely something I would recommend folks learn. And there's lots of great guides for it as well. And looks like Tall Grant is going to opt for Dwarf Castle, continuing the Fade Antlion strategy, which we know in this particular seed not going to work out. It does look like on Flurry's side, we finally have the man of the people, as far as the people are concerned in this chat. Rydia is either going to get to blarg things or be an anchor, but either way, Rydia is in Flurry's party. I mean, in Harumph's party too, but...
Yep, and it does look like Harumph is going to the giant.
Yeah, and
which we haven't
go
seen.
ahead, Ninja.
I was about to say, with Kainazo still on the plate, he could be at 65K.
Well, he could be, except Kanatsu is on our screen right now on Tallgren's side.
That's right.
So we have Kainatsu sighted at Dwarf Castle 1, so we know Dwarf Castle's required. We know Antlion Cave is required. We know Ordeals is required. We just need a Baigen, and we are in go mode. And as someone who had a Baigen at the 65K location earlier today, with a level 30 party of Porum, Edge, and Yang, yeah, that spot stinks, man. I hope Baigen's there for our sake, but not for our runner's sake. It's rude.
Yeah.
Oh, Baigen's at Bahamut. Okay, we are in no mode then. I did not realize that. So we know where everything is.
Yep.
And it looks like Harumph has set up a slingshot here for his mage grind. So, Ninja, would you like to explain the whole slingshot mechanic to folks, or would you like me to go ahead and tackle that?
Yeah, I think it'd be better if you explained it.
All right, I can definitely do that. So, as far as that slingshot mechanic goes, the way that levels work in this game, if you want to get folks double XP or bonus XP without having 10 key items, they need to be 5 levels or more below the median level of the party. So that would be the third leveled up person on the party. So meanwhile, Tall Grant completes that Kainatsu and has objective 3 on the board. But we have Harumph setting up a double slingshot. So he has 3 party members who are at least 5 levels above his Porum and his Rydia. So that is going to give him access to a double slingshot, meaning he only realistically needs to do 6 D machines with life glitches, and he will get credit for 24 of them for Rydia and Porum, which is a pretty great bargain if you ask me. Now, it will leave that Palom shy of Nuke, but it will get him Nuke and White on Porum and Rydia. So I'm interested to see if Harumph goes for a full D machine here to get 4 mages with White, Nuke, and Nuke, or if he just opts for the double with the Rydia and the Porum. It'll be interesting to see his approach to this. And we also are greeted with a required alt gauntlet at Dwarf Castle 2.
Yep.
Well, Rydia not getting to blarg things, but Grimoire certainly is for Tall Grant. Nice roll there.
Yeah, that was an exceptionally high roll.
Yeah, and it looks like Flurry was taking a Siren there to get leveled up. Now has enough MP on his Rydia to go ahead and blarg things, and also looks like he has Quake. Maybe even got to a level 3 spell, but it looks like Harumph has found his D Machine fight, and I believe he purchased something like 30 or 40 Ether ones. So he is very committed to this. While Beauty and Discovery has also stumbled across objective number 3, kind of not so. So Beauty and Discovery, if they have knowledge of the Value Cave Baigen, would be ready to go and be on their way. Looks like only Tall Grant does, though, according to our tracker, Angie Dave. Thank you again, Dave. And we see here Harumph is going for double life glitch strats with Ice 2 here. Going to be a little bit difficult to pull this off because of the order of the party. If Porum and Palom were swapped there, what would happen is the Ice 2 would be buffered. The lives would then be used afterwards. Unfortunately here, he ended up getting no bonus life cast off and only got credit for a single life glitch there with Tella, but was unable to get any extra life casts with Porum or Rosa because of how everything lined up. So unfortunately, Palom ability compromising a little bit of that strategy, which is a very sound one from Harumph. It just unfortunately didn't work out this time. And more Moonveils. Tall Grant now has yet another Moonveil from Dwarf Castle. So Moonveils for everybody here. But Tall Grant, going to turn in the Forge, does not have access to the Baron Liberation yet. So we will see if Tall Grant continues to fade Antlion or if he is able to get that taken care of. While Flurry and Beauty and Discovery both have 3 objectives done, they have completed Baron Castle, Kanato, and Odin, and only Baigen remains.
That is correct. Yeah, I don't think, has anybody peeked the top of tower yet?
No, the top of tower has remained unchecked, and no one has decided to dabble with the Feymarch bosses as well. I don't think that Baron... have we seen Baron Basement even?
Actually, Tall Grant did scout out the Fey March.
Okay. Yeah, I know the Feymarch got scouted. No one bothered to play there. And then, according to our tracker, is in the basement. But it looks like Tall Grant is on his way from the Forge. Did not catch what the Forge item was.
White shirt.
A little hiccup on my stream. White shirt. It's always a white shirt. And we do have Harumph deep in the throes of this D-Machine fight. So a little explanation of how this D-Machine works is each one of these is worth about 40,000 XP. If you life glitch, what happens is the enemies are revived with their vitality stat times 5. But all enemies in this game have 0 vitality. So 0 times 5 is 0. So you get credit for 2 kills instead of one, which makes this grind quite a bit faster. The interesting thing about D Machine grinds is that they do have an inherent level of risk, as there will always be 20% damage dealt by the fire move of the D Machine. So without the ability of Tele to weak, the D Machine will keep going fire, 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 and you will eventually die. So a grind that is definitely not risk proof. Most runners at the top levels have it mastered, but definitely something that, again, can be very, very beneficial to get all of those XP totals and all of those spells on the mages, or to make berserkers overwhelmingly powerful as well. So we shall see what strategy works out this time around. But we know Harumph has his eyes on big levels and big power, while Talgrand seems to have his eyes on the top of tower, which I believe you were calling for earlier, Ninja.
Yeah, and he's going to find out it's basically nothing.
All right, we have Flurry moving on from Dwarf Castle, also going the tower route now. So it looks like we're getting a number of keyless tower plays. So I'm going to go peek that boss, likely reset if it gives nothing or isn't the boss. We may see Flurry, attempting to go take care of that Baigen if he thinks he can get through it. May just be fishing for additional key items, but both he and Beauty and Discovery done with Dwarf, and just looking for that Baigen now.
Yeah, I was about to say, if the boss up here isn't what they need, I could see him resetting after beating it. Unless it's exactly, say, somehow it became a vanilla key item. The tower key.
Yeah, a tower key, a twin harp, a hook, all of which could be potential item keeps here. We see a sparkle, which could be a little scary if it's something like Ogopogo. And this is coming from Talgrain, who also is making the climb up here. So I tend to agree with our tracker, Dave, here, that the Twin Harp would be a very scary catch. The Tower Key less so, the Luca Key less so even than that. But there is just a Plague here, which is going to be doable. Just a couple Berserkers going. Yeah, would be absolutely able to clear this out. So a Plague's a pretty reasonable find here.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, and we see a strategy coming out from Flurry that you called for here, Ninja, that if the boss was nothing, that you would reset out. And it looks like that's what Flurry is doing. He is in full boss check mode now.
And they've pretty much done all above ground, so after this, I could see him logically going start checking moon.
Yeah, and the moon would make a lot of sense there for sure. You want to be able to go ahead and check as many bosses as possible. So, and Flurry's side, probably check Feymarch, get on out of there, then go check the moon, and Flurry will see that Baigen fairly early, and it's just going to be a matter of what does he decide to do for a grind. He has definitely found Sirens. Will he also, consider a D machine? Remains to be seen.
It's looking like he's selling a bunch of stuff for Sirens.
Yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. There is a thing called 30 Sirens in a Dream, which for the longest time was just a meme, but it has proven to work in the past, and it may work once again tonight.
Well, it's 24 Sirens, so close to 30.
24 Sirens in a Dream, 30 Sirens in a Dream, close enough for government work. Flurry already had 3 Sirens. Thank you again to Dave for pointing that out. Dave doing a phenomenal job on tracking this evening. So thank you, Dave, for doing that great job. Our restreamer as well, Bad Karma. Thank you so much for putting on the show and keeping all the knobs turning and all the buttons, protected from a certain marsupial in the booth. And of course, thank you so much, Ninja, for doing your first commentary and letting me be a part of it to help out and make sure that we keep each other on track through this. It's a
Yep,
pleasure so far, my friend.
yep, not a problem. And thank you so much, Possum, for being my first comms partner.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure you give everybody some love there. Everyone's Twitch streams are posted in chat, so click those links, give those follows, and go ahead and do what you will with those links and those follows. A lot of good people to pay attention to, including our runners, all four of which are accomplished free enterprise runners. Give them all a follow. Flurry oftentimes can be found racing late at night, doing asyncs and other things. Harumph oftentimes can be found doing anything that doesn't involve a twin harp, but loves various flag sets that he runs. Tallgrant has done a lot of fantastic work in the off season with his club and other clubs. Again, runs a lot of asyncs, and Beauty and Discovery runs ladder races as well as asyncs as well. So you can catch all four of these runners fairly regularly. If you like what you see tonight, you can definitely catch more of what they're doing. And we have quite the race between all four. Very, very close here. Tallgrant, with the knowledge of Baigen, finally went back and did that antline and got his Baron key. So I think Tallgrant is the first person officially in go mode. It just remains to be seen what he will do from here.
Yeah. Also, what kind of grind he's going to do.
Yeah, and if you're in his shoes, what kind of grind would you look to do? If you had all of them available, knew how to do all of them, would you look at a D machine? Would you look at sirens? Would you look at trap chests, lunar bosses? What would you like to do with his party?
That's a tough call, really. I mean, he knows where sirens are because I think he's like the very first person who peaked the Fade March. So I'm figuring maybe egg grind.
Yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. Eggs always a favorite of mine, whether they come 2, 3, 22, or 32 at a time. So I can definitely agree with that. And we have a spoon. So if Beauty and Discovery wants to make more of an Edward than an Anchor, we can go ahead and do such. Harumph is done with his D machine grind, has picked up 1.1 million XP with a slingshot. That is going to get Rydia to Meteo, y'all. She already had Bahamut, but that's a danger child now. That's 2.2 million adjusted XP after the slingshot. Safe to say Harumph grinded, well, I would say appropriately, but a lot of folks may say excessively, as his characters are going to be in the mid 60s or high 50s, depending on whether they were slingshot or not. But that is a lot of power. I do hope he has a curse ring or a plan for anchoring, because that Tella now is going to be ruined on agility. And to answer a question from chat, wait, was that Meteo? Yes, that was Meteo on Rydia. 2.2 million XP when you only need 2.04 million will do that. So that is all of the levels. That is level 61 on Rydia. Well played, Harumph. No Cursed Ring, though, is a little bit worrisome, as that Tella is now going to be fairly speedy, but no concern realistically, unless it's in Harumph's shoes, exactly Kainatsu or Baigen at elements. Otherwise, I don't really think he's super concerned about anything. And we are going to get a peek of that element spot, and it is
You're at the
Uh,
wrong spot.
Ninja, what's your favorite Elements boss and why is it CPU?
Um, that's a hard pass on me.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that two people with Meteo helps against. But yeah, no. Harumph says, I'm good, I'm out. Okay, bye, and is leaving the giant. And I do not blame him one bit. So yeah, Harumph going to make his way back either to the blue planet or the moon, tough to say which. Dwarf is a very unattractive check for Harumph in this case, because he, I believe, has already done the Tower of Za, so he knows that the second boss is a blue robe, which means that he would be going down there simply to peek the first boss. And I think
I'm
go
pretty
ahead.
sure he did Miss Cave and saw that it was a water hag.
Yeah, so he then knows that that Dwarf Castle is exactly a gauntlet, and that may steer him away from it, which is bad news for Harumph, good news for our other runners, since Harumph is going to just steamroll everything in his path. The problem is his path needs to go to Dwarf, and needs to go to Dwarf quickly. But we have Talgran, who's in the mid-30s for levels here. Looks like he is going to be taking on this Baigen that he knows about in Value Cave. This is a tough location for Baigen.
That's a punchy spot there.
And we have a T Wildish play going on Beauty and Discovery's side. We see Eblin Trap Chess, we have T Wildish, and if the Adamant Cup group stage has taught me anything, it's that if you have T Wildish and Cecil, you go to Eblin because there's always a Holy Sword. At least that's what Martin RNG says. But just a Dragoon Spear for Beauty and Discovery there. And the King Ryu's getting some gold dragon grinds on Talgrand's side. What do you think about this grind, Ninja?
This could be kind of a risky thing.
Yeah, it looks like he's doing the no hourglasses as well, which is quite ambitious.
Looked like he was using stops on him.
Yeah, stop definitely a strong spell in this case. Weak, a strong spell to try to handle this, but not making the quickest of work here, but still able to get through fairly well. But there's the stop wearing off, and oh boy, Beauty and Discovery found not only an Avenger, but also a Crystal Sword. Beauty and Discovery is doing a happy dance right now. Picked up a Dragoon Spear for a Kane, a Crystal Sword and Avenger for a Cecil. Beauty and Discovery has his party and does not need to do nearly as much of a grind as, let's say, Harumph has done, or Flurry, who is currently in the midst of his 30 Sirens in a Dream. Yeah, that's going to be big for Beauty and Discovery to cut down on the grind, and also heading on up to the moon. Beauty and Discovery may, by virtue of that Crystal Sword and the Avenger, be the first one through that Baigen.
Yeah, you probably are right on that.
So if you're in Harumph's shoes here, Ninja, where would you go after doing this check? Would you stay on the moon and peek for Kainatsu, or would you start to go back down to the blue planet and clear everything out there?
Personally, with the amount of checks up here as opposed to what he had left, I'd probably stick up here and clear the moon.
Yeah, I definitely tend to agree there. That the moon seems very appealing for Harumph here. And a bit of a tragic thing happened on Talgrand's side. The stops started wearing off. The members of the party started falling over, and only Kane got the XP from that fight. That was not what Talgrand was aiming for there, and that just highlights, the risk involved in this gold dragon grind.
Yeah, it looks like Harump's going to make pretty quick work of this Baigen.
Yeah, Bahamut doing, well, Bahamut things, making sure that Baigen has no arms. And Quake from Palom also accomplishing the same thing. So big spells coming out from Harumph here. And meanwhile, on Flurry's side, looks like he headed into Mysidia, I believe, to change out anchors, and also wanted to do a little bit of shopping. But Flurry also is going to likely encounter this Baigen fairly soon. So we should have 3 runners on screen, all either in go mode or very close to go mode, coming up shortly here. Although it looks like Flurry is deviating, shopping for something. Maybe some Star Veils just for safety. Or actually, Star Veils would make sense because he used all of his Veils, does not have any, and he is doing Reflect strats. So Flurry is on the hunt for Star Veils, I believe, at this point.
Yep.
And whew, the explosions from the arm. Goodbye, Rydia. And just a white spear from the Baigen. And I apologize, Ninja. I think I cut you off a little bit there.
No. And it looks like Flurry did find what he was looking for.
Yep, Flurry picked up his Star Veils, and he is ready to head to the moon as well. We'll also be getting through this Baigen fairly quickly. We will see if he can run down Tall Grant and Beauty and Discovery. Beauty and Discovery in a bit of a pickle here, though, because this Cecil is doing okay damage, but this Cecil's also in the front row, and there's a punch about to come out, and that's a lot more damage than Cecil has health. Goodbye, Cecil. 2,300 to the face. He doesn't have 2,300 health.
And yep, Harump's doing the play that we were talking about earlier. He is gonna start eyeing bosses up here on the moon.
Yeah, and it 100% makes sense in his shoes because he has power overwhelming. He can absolutely crush anything he runs into. So why would you not? It's just unfortunate for Harumph. We know that we're going to get to see basically the entire seed, and Harumph is going to be the one to show it to us. And the other runners on our screen are going to take an easier route, if you will. But Harumph doing the face and free method, as we call it, that is face checking for bosses and taking free fights as they show up. So this DKC is a free fight. Might as well see if a gating key item like a tower key, a twin harp, or a Luca key shows up, even a hook. So I like this play from Harumph, the face and free method. Unfortunately, again, we know it's not going to work out this seed, but hopefully there's not too many rabbit holes up here, and he's able to get out of this. Oh dear.
Oh.
Well, Ninja.
Cartel has struck again.
Very well said. The cartel has struck again. I love it. That is the last possible thing that Harumph wanted to see there. Now, what I would love is if somehow, some way, he chased that. We know it's not going to happen, but I would love it if it did. We do see Tall Grant still grinding on these gold dragons, starting to get some appreciable levels out of it. But we see Flurry done with his grind. just eviscerating this Baigen, and we'll be ready to fight Zeromus, the final boss after this. So Flurry coming up on the end of the seed fairly quickly, and really kind of coming from behind here because Beauty and Discovery and Tall Grant were both on the moon a couple minutes before he was. Harumph was fully done with a grind. So Flurry kind of just picked the right path through this seed. Did the appropriate checks that he needed to do, built his party, and at least on stream now has a fairly commanding position. So we'll see if he can carry that through to the end.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that how he's pretty much caught. Well, yeah, he's in go mode, isn't he?
Yeah, Flurry is our first runner on screen on stream who has all 4 objectives complete. As Baigen is now down at the hour and 6 minute mark for Flurry, so that is objective number 2 complete. Our first runner to be in go mode picks up his complimentary White Spear, which will have no use whatsoever. Flurry also has the pass, so he can exit out, fly down to the blue planet, head to Troya, and go hop through that door that has been retrofitted to no longer be a special part of the pub, but just a special way to go fight the final boss. Meanwhile, Harumph is giving us the full ward tour, and we see Bahamut, which, the cave had value, but the boss isn't going to have value. Well, it looks like Flurry going to stop in one additional place to do one additional thing. Maybe needs a little extra XP to get someone to nuke. Rydia may be just shy, which, I mean, hashtag Rydia things. Yeah. And only getting 34,000 here, so still needs one more level on Rydia, so there's maybe a couple more Sirens here. And he does have 4 left, so Flurry will be able to get Rydia to nuke here. Meanwhile, Harumph is through the Bahamut and is just going to carry on to the Ribbon Room. Looks like he's taking out all of these free bosses, but not coming up with the value he needs. Now that's a boss, an Antlion, that I wonder if he just resets out of. But no, looks like he is just going to go bombs away on this and keep tackling this Antlion, which, surprising no one, Ninja, is on the moon.
Yeah. No big surprise there.
And there is nuke for Flurry's Rydia. Flurry going to get in that airship and head on over to Troya now. Tall Grant, done with his grind, is likely going to save here and then head in to try to take on that Baigen. Beauty and Discovery probably getting pretty close on his grind at this point as well. But we have a couple of things we got to go over here before Flurry gets into the final fight. Ninja, what's the whole thing with Zeromus here? We see these Z flags in chat. Do we move Zeromus around, or does he have to be fought here? Kind of give us a rundown on this, and I know there's a special question you have to ask at the end of that.
Well, Zeromus can't be moved. He cannot be randomized anywhere else. So instead of moving him, we just randomize what he appears to be. So the real question is, whose butt are we going to kick tonight? And is it a cute butt?
And does it have a hat?
Okay, yeah, that too.
All right, looks like Flurry is headed in. How is butt? Is the butt cute? Does it have a hat? Does it have a cute hat? all of these questions and more to be answered this evening on this very free enterprise channel. And to answer a question from chat, where did the hat thing come from? That was an Adamant Cup special because the Gaia Hat group absolutely knocked it out of the park with their spirit, their camaraderie, and everything is hat, hat, hat. But things that are not hats, dolls are not hats, and we have a 6-pack of dolls on Harumph's side. They're going to meet the wrong end of a Bahamut and a Quake here, which is great for Harumph, but bad for the dolls. Meanwhile, the crystal is being thrown by Flurry, so yeah, let's find out the answer to Ninja's question. Not tonight, right now. Well, Ninja, it's a butt.
Yeah, it is.
It's in paint. It's kind of randomized.
Sorta.
But we do have classic reflect strats going on here from Flurry. Basically, what's going to happen here is you have 61,000 health for Zeromus, and that 61,000 is going to not be refilled, because what's going to happen is Flurry is going to skip that HP refill that happens. Zeromus normally would have a full 110,000, but not this time around, because Flurry is going to do pure reflected damage, cannot trigger any refill. If you are doing all reflected damage, that goes for Zeromus, that goes for bosses like Mom Bomb, that goes for anything with a counter script. Asura as well, just can't trigger any of those. So that is what Flurry is leaning into here. Going to do a little bit of helping damage with Kane here. That is perfectly fine if you don't go over the 45,000 threshold. And yeah, it's a good time from Flurry, going to be able to just breeze on through this. And worth noting as well that this is a community race, so we do have 4 runners on stream, but we have quite a few others off stream as well. I think we have something like 12 runners in the race tonight. We do not have a first place finisher yet, so Flurry not only in the running for first place on Restream, but also in the running for first place overall in the race tonight. But just a little bit behind him, we have Tall Grant now officially in go mode, has completed that Baigen, and we shall see if Tall Grant wants to do some more grinding, or if Tall Grant is going to go through and head on to Zeromus himself. But looks like more grinding is in the works here. A little bit risky doing this after completing that Baigen without saving. If this goes wrong, it could go really wrong.
Yeah, I mean, things could go sideways on this fight. And it looks like Harumph finished the rest of the bosses in the LST, so he's back to the blue planet.
Yeah, Harumph really doesn't have any other options. He, I believe, picked up a Luca key from the Ribbon Room, I think a Twin Harp as well, on the moon. I didn't see what else he picked up, but worth noting also, Flurry, in a bit of a pickle here, is YOLOing a direct cast nuke here, hoping that this finishes. I have not been counting admittedly, so let's see if Flurry gets the job done. Quad 9s? That's gonna do it. GG's to Flurry, finishing first place on Restream, first place overall, and coming in just behind him, 14 seconds behind, was Poidrak off stream in second place. But GG's to the man of the hour, Flurry 14, and we will see if we can get him in for an interview.
Yeah, GG's to him.
But meanwhile, we do see Beauty and Discovery going after this Baigan here. Tall Grant not having the best time here with this King Ryu fight. Yeah, this Edge and this Kane are going to get levels, but no Palom, no Rosa XP here. A bit scary there. Harumph dropping the Magma Key, going to go underground at the 1 hour and 16-minute mark. That is something you generally don't want to be experiencing, but Harumph is going through that right now. Probably going to be pretty disappointed when he finds that Kainatsu after doing that whole lunar expedition. All right, and it looks like we will be joined shortly by Flurry for an interview. So we will get him on as quickly as we can. Meanwhile, Beauty and Discovery, our third runner on stream to get into Go mode officially. And we have Tall Grant headed on over. Looks like he has decided he doesn't want to play with grinding anymore. And yeah, Tall Grant going to take a bit of a risky fight here, but we'll see if he can get through it. Meanwhile, we are joined by our winner on stream and off stream, overall winner of the race, Flurry14. GG's to you, Flurry.
Thanks. It ends up being a close one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very appropriate that you won by 14 seconds.
Yeah, funny how that works.
I gotta say, I for one appreciate the 20 whatever sirens in a dream. You are a man after my heart this evening for employing that strategy.
I did think of you when I was doing it. I was really hoping to get, I don't know, a little better weapon or an edge. An edge might have been the moon character. But like you have Palom, you have Viridia, you're one boss away, and you're gonna have to start fighting stuff on the moon. It seemed like the right thing to do. And it worked out. I got lucky in that, oh, hey, look, it's the very first boss you check on the moon. But otherwise, I think the decision making was okay. I probably overlooted, but Escorter will do that to me.
Yeah, Escorter, you got to buy stuff, and
yep.
It can't all be sirens. Well, I mean, I guess it can, but as far as a quick routing question for you, early or not early on, but before you went to the moon, you peaked Keyless Tower. Was that just a if I don't do this now, I do this never type play?
Yeah, and it's two bosses in one. So I figured it lowers the probability of me having to feel bad about checking the next 8 bosses and not knowing what to do next. So yeah, I figured a 2-in-1 check makes sense. That's kind of why I peaked Odin when I did, just to get it out of the way. I'm there. If it's the boss, great. If it's not, I don't really lose that much time. Keyless Tower Walk isn't nothing, but I think for the double boss answer, because if it more importantly, if the hook boss is Baigan, that changes completely what I need to do next. So
yeah, that makes
more than anything else.
Yeah, because if you see it on the hook route, you're like, oh, I need to go find the hook.
Yeah.
Which means now you're not focusing on bosses, you're focusing on the densest, quickest key items possible. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Early on in the seed, and this came back to be an issue later on, there was a wyvern, and this was not a you thing, this was an everyone thing. Everyone went popping star veils like crazy, and then it psyched. Were you ever considering a potential reset to get your veils back and then just go in there guns a-blazing, or were you like, nope, what's done is done?
No, I had seen Golbez already, and that's really like the main big deal. And I had like Quake at that stage of the game is pretty ridiculous. I couldn't think of a lot of bosses that were going to necessitate a Star Veil usage like immediately. So, and I only had, I think, 2 shops left to check, or 3 shops left to check. Of course, it was the last one, but Yeah, I was gonna just eat that Starvale and just go. It would make, I could understand the notion of checking the last boss in Ordeals and resetting out. You have the party. You're probably not checking the moon bosses or things that are likely to get you tier 8 stuff. You're not getting it through the treasury, so you're probably not doing Cecil. Sirens are available, so you're probably not doing a Z machine. So there's definitely an argument to be made for checking the first 2 on Ordeals and then resetting upon seeing the third boss, just to get that Starvale back. But after seeing Golbez already, I was like, nah, we're good.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I will let you know, actually, the 2 things you mentioned, the Cecil and the D machine. We have one runner with a Crystal Sword Cecil and one who did a D machine on stream. So all of those things have happened in this seat.
Evelyn?
Eblin.
Yeah. T Wildish. We just had an entire tournament demonstrate why that play makes sense. So
Yep.
I was very concerned about the package boss. Package and I have a history, and in this, the package, Cecil behind a package have even more of a history. So fortunately, I'm not playing against Night Dew, so that
I was going to say,
a problem.
I'm not going to bring that up. That's for you.
I mean, it's. I see him there, and I'm like, all right, I need to get the Holy Sword first. I can't give away 3 minutes in a huge race. And it worked out, but yeah, Crystal Sword would have saved me probably 7 to 8 sirens, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, because all you need is Cure 4 and Rosa at that point, and you're pretty much good to go.
Pretty much. Who was the moon character, by the way?
It was Edge.
Bummer. I thought about checking that early, but Quake is good.
I mean, you got there in the end. You got first place, so you can't really have too many complaints about how it turned out.
Yeah, for sure. But like, that's my general approach on races. At the risk of sounding too preachy, my approach to races, when I look back at how I played, the result is the last thing I look at.
Of course,
it's a randomizer, so weighing whether or not that made sense. Like, the characters I had left were Yang, okay, Edge, that would have been great, Fu, that would have also been great, but I mean, Quake and Bahamut are pretty good. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't want to steal too much more mic time. Ninja, do you have any questions for our winner this evening, Flurry?
No, actually, you pretty much asked him all I was going to ask him.
All right.
Except one thing. What did you think about that treasury?
I'm sure chat was giving you Bahamut out of 10.
It was Blarg out of 10.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, with max tier 7, I'm not. I guess I wanted a little better cane weapon than an ogre axe, but the money would have been nice too. Oh, that's what it was. Mage gear. I had like no mage gear, and I didn't really find any in there either. So,
I mean, you could have put on a Bahamut on each leg and kind of walked around doing some sort of weird cosplay.
Sure. New flag omniscient, or what is it? Omnidextrous 2.0, where you can now equip items and they do random things.
Sounds like a plan to me. I know that Wylam's already figured out how to make items do random things, so why not push it a bit further?
There you go. Make alarms give you plus 10 speed.
All right. Well, Flurry, we'll give you the last word and let you have the rest of your evening to enjoy. Any final thoughts about the seed?
Oh, I thought it was boss hunts are always interesting to decide when you're going to throw the chips in and make that decision, and that in and of itself, I think, balances out with the occasional frustration when you find boss on 32. That's just gonna it's a thing that's going to happen. Appreciate y'all taking the time to do commentary. Admin note: keep an eye on the race channel. I believe as a team we are kind of looking to test some things out and figure this is as good an opportunity to let anyone listening know that if y'all want to help us test some flag sets, keep an eye on the race channel. I'm pretty sure we'll be putting something up in the next couple days. So see y'all then, and y'all have a good night. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you again, Flurry, and very much so GG's to you. And yeah, folks, that was your first place winner this evening, Flurry 14. Uh, we also had a flurry of finishes come in whilst doing that interview. Rybon in third, Klopfer in fourth, Beauty and Discovery on stream in fifth, and we will see if we can get Beauty and Discovery in for an interview. And I believe with that, we are joined by Beauty and Discovery right now. So GG's to you, Beauty and Discovery.
Thank you. Have a good evening, race fans. How's everyone doing?
We're doing great up here in the booth, and just appreciate your great play and your ability to get through what turned out to be a fairly rude bygame.
Yeah, no kidding. I remembered that spot being fairly rude, but I didn't think it was that bad. I was like, okay, I think I've got a chance. And then I didn't. So I was kind of planning on going through Gold Dragons. I knew it was going to be sketchy without the hourglasses, but it did feel pretty crummy to flub it as badly as I did, especially knowing I came in so close behind a couple other great racers.
Yeah, you put on a heck of a show. You were the only person that we saw that took the Cecil, and the only one, therefore, that had Crystal Sword Cecil. You saved a boatload of time on grinding by comparison to the other runners, but that also did lead to that unfortunate wipe to Baigen because you're like, I have a Holy Sword Cecil. I can do anything. And unfortunately, Baigen is a jerk.
Indeed, he is, especially in that location. But no, the seed has jokes. As I was walking up to Rydia's mom, I was saying out loud to myself, please don't have package. She had package because I knew I hadn't saved after finishing Baron. And lucky me, I was banging my table when Cecil showed up with excitement because it actually made it semi-worth it.
Well, to let you know, and this is good for everyone out in chat as well, you can actually use the tele that you had to cast exit, and you can exit out of there, and it'll send you back without having to check the package.
Touche, my pink puff is showing a little bit, but you know what? Serendipity tonight, it worked out.
It did. It's a good little tidbit, though, and you know, there's always so much to learn in this game. It's one of the beauties of it.
Like remembering to take your Avenger off and put the Dragoon Spear back on. That's a good one to remember as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ninja, do you have any questions for Beauty and Discovery, our second place finisher on stream, fifth overall in the race tonight?
Not really. No, that was good. They ran pretty good, like I said.
Thank you. Yeah, no, not a half bad seed for a triple boss hunt. 3.5 really, if you count Mist Dragon. I was a little apprehensive. I was wondering how much face checking I would have to do. But just kind of got lucky. I'm a big fan of Dwarf Castle early on for the experience. So seeing Kanazo there was great. Felt really rewarding going up ordeals for a couple of reasons. So it all really worked out pretty well, especially checking K value. I don't normally do that. I usually go lunar subterranean. So even that paid dividends there. Figured it was a quick check and it was the right one to do tonight.
Yeah, you played very well. And, you know, again, we appreciate you being willing to put yourself out there to be watched and, you know, admired, critiqued, and everything that goes with it. And, you know, definitely would recommend watching back the restream. If it's not already something you do, it's like one of my favorite ways to learn things and to critique my own play and learn from it is to just watch those back and compare yourself to others and compare yourself to yourself and wonder what you were doing in that moment. So we appreciate you, though, for letting us watch you run this, and a great run you had.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely recommend watching it back for everyone out there, especially newer players. I've learned quite a bit, mainly from chat, if anything. That is where I now always remember when you're checking trap chests in the underground, Battle Speed 3, RA1, Fu, or Palom. always remember the Battle Speed 3. That I forgot until it kind of got the better of me in a restream race. So definitely a really useful tool to have to be able to watch back and see people critique yourself, even if maybe you feel a little silly doing it sometimes when you flub it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we appreciate your time both running the seed and hopping in for an interview. Any final thoughts on the seed, the flag set, community as a whole?
Uh, Pretty fun flag set, I gotta say. Like I said, I am not someone who necessarily hates boss hunts. I think they can be a little fun, especially if you have cheeky stuff like push B to jump. But nonetheless, played out fairly well. Was pretty proud of myself, and I think the number one thing is not checking Sheila, because seeing Vanilla Pan there, I would have been chasing that way too long. So thanks everyone for the opportunity. Thank you to the Restream team, especially behind the scenes, Bad Karma and Edgy Day pushing buttons back there, and to you, eNinja and Possum Morpheus, for commentating, and all my fellow racers. It was an absolute blast to be part tonight.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Beauty and Discovery. You have yourself a fantastic evening. GG's again on the 5th place overall, 2nd place on Restream.
All right, thank you so much. GG's to the rest of my racers. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a great night. And that was, again, our 2nd place finisher on Restream, 5th place overall. During that interview, we also had Lord Bob Bree finishing in 6th, Tall Grant finishing in 7th overall and 3rd on Restream. And we are now joined by Tall Grant. GG's to you this evening, Tall Grant.
GG, sir.
I am well. How are you doing, Possum?
I am doing very well. Thank you, Tall Grant. I got to ask a burning question, because you were our first runner in Go mode that we saw on stream. The Gold Dragons, like that just it seemed to really get the best of you tonight.
I botched it. I tried to get really cute with Tella because I didn't stop to pick up ethers. I didn't stop to think about it, and so I didn't want to do a second week on that very first Gold Dragon fight where it really, really went bad. And had I done what I really should have done in that fight was what I eventually did a little bit later, which is go ahead and cast that week, and then when you get in the next fight, get the fight settled, and use Psych to pull mana off of Palom or Rosa or Edge. I mean, Edge is the obvious one because he's not really doing much ninja magic there, and that could have substituted for my ethers, but I just kind of let it get out of control, and it got the best of me.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to ask about the the throwback to a bygone era of Couch and PK. Was that a calculated antlion fade, or was that there's no way I need to do this in a community race?
No, that was a weird circumstantial thing. I thought I'd be cute in that fight on on Hobbs at the very beginning with Tella, and I haven't had him throw a recall in the hopes that he would put something entertaining out. Not kind of not thinking it through that. He did, but not thinking through that Wyvern had already thrown was going to throw up Reflect before it would come through. And so Tella got turned to stone, and I sat and thought to myself, well, I could do Antlion, but my source of exit is gone. I don't have a good way to fix it except to go over to Fabul. And once I popped into Fabul, it's like, I've got Magma Key. It's time to go underground. Antlion can probably wait. It'll probably be fine. And I was kind of reflecting on it in the race ended. I think the only thing that really, really punished me for was the fact that I made that keyless tower check, because almost everything else that I did was something that was necessary or beneficial or useful, and putting off Baron a little bit didn't hurt quite that much.
Yeah, definitely. I will say you were not the only runner who got trolled by Tella and Reflect. We had another person who recalled a virus, which reflected off the wall and killed their cane. So the two of y'all are I guess being felled by the League of Extraordinary Tellas tonight.
Yeah, but I mean, that was a fun seed. It was really jetty, and you kind of get into go mode, and it's, my kind of big hope was when I did that Baron Castle thing, I saw Earth Crystal and thought to myself, okay, let's hope that somebody is going down a rabbit hole, is going to chase something over there, because at that point I'd seen Baigan up top. I knew he was there. I knew he was going to be a pain, and I'm just so grateful that for all the zonks I got, they handed me Moonveils, because I don't think I could have gotten through that fight without them.
Yeah, and you got a Moonveil from Watery Pass, a Moonveil from Dwarf Castle, and maybe even a third one. I know you had quite a few of them by the end of it.
I had 3. I want to say the third one came out of, it was one of the very early checks. It might have been off Ordeals.
Gotcha. I mean, that's a way to get through Beigen.
Yeah. It still felt really close, but I was happy with the job I did gauging levels and being able to get through things. I just wish things had been a little bit better. I am kind of curious. I'm sure someone went in the treasury, and I'm wondering if there's anything absolutely spectacularly wonderful inside there.
3 Bahamets.
That was not particularly useful for this seed.
Yeah, that was the only thing of real note was 3 Bahamets. I think there was like a ninja hat and a Zeus gauntlet. Yeah. So as Ninja's saying, that was it was a treasury out of 10.
But no, this was a fun seed. It's really entertaining to get to race with the community. I love seeing people, and this is the best community I know of on the internet for speed running and randomizers. So.
Yeah, well, we're absolutely always happy to have you, and blessed that you are part of the community now as well. Your contributions, we talked about them with the asyncs, the club, and everything else that you're doing, behind the scenes for you to take time not only to do that but also to volunteer to race tonight. Greatly appreciate your contributions as well.
Yep, thank you very much, sir.
Well, that's awesome. I'd love to give a shout out to you guys. I know E-Ninja and Possum both called the race tonight. I'm sure both of you did a wonderful job. It was great. We had Bad Karma putting on the show for us, and Ninja Dave back behind the scenes pushing the buttons. So really, really appreciated for all the work you guys put in to make this production that the community can enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you again one more time for letting us watch you do what you do, Tall Grant. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening.
Appreciate it. You guys do the same.
And all right, that was Tall Grant, our 3rd place finisher on Restream, and 7th overall. And real quick before we get to Harumph, do want to just let everyone know that we had an 8th place finisher off stream, Tybalt, and then 9th place overall, 4th on Restream, Harumph, the man, the myth, the legend, the Harp Cartel captain, if you will. No, I can't say that. GG's Harumph.
Thank you.
GG. I do have a question, though.
Sure. Ask away.
Why fade Dwarf Castle?
I went to the moon first here. That was the play I was going to commit to here. So I was going to chase the rabbit hole that I had from getting the Luca key on the moon. So
yeah,
Dwarf was going to I chose to fade the underground here. Dwarf was probably going to be the last thing I was going to check down there. It was just unfortunate here that it turned out here to be the path I needed to go, and probably should have gone. Going underground first was the better play here, but yeah, I committed here to doing moon first here, and that was the gamble you take here, and you have to kind of live by the. Live by the game's stake.
And I understand that as well, because you technically actually had more checks on the moon than you did underground.
I'd say it was more checks here because there's still a lot of gating key items available here. So I was going to the moon knowing that I was going to commit to doing that and hope and gamble here that the path to the other 2 boss objectives here are all through the moon here, either through bosses on the moon themselves or gated through the moon. I was going to follow the Luca key here. I was going to go check behind. I was going to check the CPU spot here if it before Twin Harp if it came to that. Fortunately, it did not.
And Harumph, I did want to ask: did the blue robe that you would have seen from doing Zod, did that play into not doing Dwarf as well?
Not really. No, I think I was just more committed here to the moon play at that point here. So it.
Okay.
I figured here, if I was going to try to win the seed, if I went to the moon play here, knowing here that there was a magnet key, that was going to get checked by the other runners here first. So I'm going to go for all the checks here.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I did want to ask because I got two things that I deeply enjoy in free enterprise out of this. I got 27 sirens from Flurry, and I got Meteo on Rydia from you. Uh, was that calculated? Was that just more XP than you thought you were going to get? What was up with the D machine grind? Because you got all of the XP.
I lost count, to be honest.
Okay.
Which is what does happen a lot here, especially if I'm doing a D machine where I don't have 10 key items here, because I don't have to count as much, quite frankly, if I've got the bonus. That here and the turn order here seemed a little it caught the turn order caught me a little off guard in terms of it going everywhere here, and it's tough to get. It's surprisingly tough to get some damage. Yeah, like I had the one hit for 8, which didn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, your turn order kind of got a little wonky because I saw you was trying to do double life glitch.
Well,
And
yeah.
then all of a sudden, they were throwing them out before you was able to kill the dragon.
Yeah, yeah, like when you're dealing with like a fairly, basically just trying to do a D machine with all mages.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them base level. Yeah, it was. I figured it'd be comfortable here, but it it took a little bit longer than I would have liked. And of course, losing count here certainly doesn't help with things here, but it's it's not as egregious here to go a little over here, because at least you got that HP buffer in case you do get some nastier bosses along the way here. At least they can tank a hit at a high physical attack spot.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. I don't really have too many other questions for you. Ninja, do you have anything else for Harumph this evening?
No, I asked him a few questions. I'm pretty much done.
Yeah, well, of course, I have to shout out here the team, of course, here, Andrew Dave tracking, Bad Karma on the putting the restream, Possum and Ninja on comms here. I'll have to watch this one back here because I'm sure Ninja did a great job on the first go around.
Oh yeah, Ninja kept me in check, which is very important and also difficult to do.
Impressive. I tip my hat.
Well, thank you again, Harumph, for letting us watch your race this evening and showing us the entirety of the seed, whether you wanted to or not. We got to see it and we appreciate it. And I hope you have a great evening, my friend.
Yeah. And it was it was the entirety of everything I wanted to show. Let's put it that way. Fade Harp. Have a good night.
Well said. Have a good night, Harumph.
Yep. Good night.
All right. Well, that is our fourth place finisher on Restream, but of course, first place in the heart of Harp faders like myself. Harumph, thank you again to all of our runners. Flurry 14, Beauty and Discovery, Tall Grant, and Harumph, all four putting on a great show for us. So make sure, again, one last time, that you give them your love and your admiration and your follows, as they absolutely deserve it. And of course, to our Restream team, Bad Karma behind the scenes, Dave doing the tracking, the real difficult job this evening, and my co-commentator Ninja. Thank you so much for doing this one with me.
Yep, and also Possum Morpheus.
All right, and that is not all the free enterprise we have for you this evening, no, folks. We are going to be sending everyone over to Tybalt. And just a fair warning, Tybalt is running an async, and that async is the Choose Your Own Ordeals async. That is async identity GNSPP9. So if you plan on running that async, you may want to drop before the raid, But for those who are sticking around and for those in general, we do appreciate everyone hanging out, supporting the runners, supporting the community. And we hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening. Make sure to catch the next community race, which will be coming up on a Monday at, I believe, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then we have clubs running throughout the week. I believe we also have Hero's Journey running tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you check that out as well. Lots of free enterprise always happening. So again, y'all have a great one. Ninja, take us away.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for showing up. We hope you all have a good night. Bye.